Good morning, Annabelle, Christ follower here. So, I wanted to talk a little bit more about loving your neighbor as yourself. So, it seems kind of straightforward because you think, oh, that just means that I'm supposed to really put others before myself. But I think that it's misinterpreted often because I know I did for a very, very long time. And I feel like in doing so, I took away my own self worth in my mind. And that makes God very sad. So, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, that means you're supposed to love yourself too. And it's so easy for us empaths to validate our own self worth in our mind based off of what we can give others and how we can make others feel. But the truth is, we really don't have power over anybody else's emotion. And to judge your own self worth on the power that's non existent is a trap. It's a trap in which you end up running around chasing your tail and trying to validate your whole life on something that can't be validated. So, to love your neighbor as yourself, you have to start with loving yourself. God made you you. Every little imperfection has a purpose. Everything that you are working on within yourself to become better and closer to God is beautiful. And God is working in that for the betterment of all who loves him. So if you see yourself as perfect in God's eyes, because he made you just the way you are, of course you are perfect in his eyes. He doesn't make mistakes. Then you can start to build on that love and love others more greatly. Just like any relationship, husband, wife, parent, daughter, the parent can't truly be a very, very good parent unless they love themselves and teach the child to love themselves and then build upon that to love others as you love yourself. Because just as God didn't make any mistakes with you, he didn't make any mistakes with anybody. So that guy cutting you off on the freeway, God loves him. And we love him too. As the embodiment of Christ, we love them too. And you have to remember that. And that's a hard thing to do. Or that jackass who just won't stop doing blah, blah, blah. Or this, that, or the other. So whatever struggle we are with, because there are people that are hard to love. There are some hard to love people out there. It's important to remember that God didn't make any mistakes with them either. And we're all still being worked on. We're all hopefully getting closer and closer to God and closer to that bliss, that heaven that he calls us for, that he assures us is close. And it is. And it's really hard to feel heaven, and it's really hard to meditate on God's greatness if you don't see yourself as great. If you don't see yourself as his creation and an extension of him. And if you do, then your love for others will just build so exponentially. You'll start to see that we are one, that universal oneness and that amazing feeling of heaven will become tangible for you. And you have to think about that in the way that you think to yourself. I I struggle with thinking to myself kindly. I'll if I make a mistake or something, I'll immediately start calling myself names in my head, and I need to recognize that God would not have myself treat myself like that. So that's something that I'm working on. And I think it's something that a lot of people in the faith that are drawn to God struggle with, because we are givers. We love love and we love to give and we give of ourselves so freely. And it's hard to remember that if you give of yourself without renewing your love for even yourself, you won't have much love to give to others. I hope that this gave you something to think about, and I hope that you all take the moment to just love yourself today and think kindly to yourself and know that I love you, God loves you, and keep praying for each other.